Okay, now what I wanted to illustrate with this was the fact that we have 24 hours of amazing content. Essentially, I've allowed myself some time to sleep in this process. But what happens socially for content that takes you from when you get up to when you go to sleep? A little bit about us, briefly to show that we're relevant. Here's our stuff. This is just merely some of our stuff. Some great creative content for the likes of Doctor Who, Toyota, Scientific American. We take great content, make it mobile and make it relevant on any digital platform. And that allows us to make sure that we're talking to the right customers. But also, so that can be from consumers right the way through business and business to business. A very brief rundown, 8 years of developing stunning mobile content, if I may say so myself. 12 years of that in digital. First iPad app, as we mentioned, launched on the same day as the iPad, and that's part of our innovation, is making sure that we're keeping our clients ahead. All apps promoted by Apple, 5 apps of the week, number one apps in books, games, music, reference, and 7 million plus promotional video views to kind of get the spread and the message of those out, and over 750,000 downloads. Okay, if I make this introduction.
Hello. Yes, I'm the pocket-sized, slightly manic one. Always there with you. Always.
I'm the laid-back one. Just gets wheeled out for presentations.
I'm the serious one.
Reading
I don't get multi-touch and GPS and all that.
Okay, so we've got a laptop, which is, as we say, a serious one. This is representing my iPhone because I don't want to make it too small for you. And then we've got the iPad, which is kind of dragged out for presentations and other useful points of the day, whereas the iPhone is the personal one. Okay, looking at all the social channels here, we've got Twitter, we've got Facebook, we've got LinkedIn, Google+, Vine, and YouTube. Consumers to consumers, they're all talking across these channels. Businesses to consumers should be looking at exactly the same channels. There's no touch point here that is irrelevant when it comes to a business talking to a consumer, and if you can take note, exactly the same channels when you're talking business to business. We're all business sat in the room here, but we're also consumers. And that's very much how this message is getting mixed up within social channels. So we're now saying this spreads across all of those available to us. Now, I'll be showing you examples of relevant content, or irrelevant content, in some cases across all of those channels. But here's my 24 social hours. I say I've given a little bit allowance for sleep, and that I don't always get that luxury. But there's a chance here to see how that touches all of those channels, and as we take you through. And then, of course, I will be accompanied by some relevant or irrelevant commentary from my co-presenters. Okay, first up.
Whoa, is that what I think it is?
Actually, it is. First thing I see in the morning after a particularly interesting night out entertaining clients is someone's retweeted a mashed potato penis I sculptured on a plate. Now, this is, again, what people like is humans to follow rather than necessarily brands. So if you're representing a brand, okay, in some instances the CEO of British Gas may well lose his job over a mashed potato penis. Let's look for, so between 5:30, 6:30, this is social housekeeping as I'd refer to it, and it's a case of trawling through the previous night's content, which may include mashed potatoes, but also the news and what we're looking at, what's around the next corner as far as innovation is concerned. 6:50, I'm on my way to work. So we're now looking, this is a great point for me to stop off. He has got a good camera, exactly. And I mean, this is the instance here is that we're looking at smartphones, so why not pull over? If you see that moment, capture that moment. And that gives just another kind of a look and an insight into the personal level. Now here we're looking at an example of a Vine video. I'm actually quite obsessed with Vine at the moment, and making sure I can kind of mould it and turn it into something that's useful for a business to consumer, business to business, and a great way to actually show content in a 6-second snippet in much the way 140 characters works so well for Twitter. So this is then kind of spread across from Twitter to the IDM actually retweeting them. Now, next up at 8 o'clock.
Me.
They get quite excited about the fact that they're starring in this video. So there's the fact that we've got...
No sign of me. No sign of me at all.
No. There's no room for a laptop here. So what we have there is a video that's gone up on YouTube. We've posted it to show a concept that we're looking at for the Apple iWatch. We'll come back to that later. Now, I refer to this as 8:15 to 9 o'clock as the dead zone. Essentially, any content in here tends to have an opportunity to kind of get washed away, lost, kind of swept under the carpet and lost without any kind of meaningful content getting retweeted or shared there. And then the iWatch video goes dark. So our point of putting that up on our Brownwidth channel is so that people can discover it and make of it what they will. 10:10. I spotted a great article by James Rhodes, decided to retweet this. It was actually spotted by John Mitchinson, founder of Unbound and co-founder of QI. Great way to spread a really great message about creativity. And then someone else picks up on that and decides to share that because and copying in rather than pure retweeting. Now next up,
humble brag.
It is indeed a humble brag. One of these things, it's a great thing about Twitter is you can be, as people know what you are and they know how you act and how you tweet, sending out messages like saying, having spent the last couple of days with Apple, I can safely say they're more open to feedback and criticism than ever before. But of course, we've had lots of amazing things like #1 iBooks and apps. So there's an opportunity to say the good things and spread the word.
Data. I love data.
He does. He's a bit weird like that. But now we've found an amazing chart that actually kind of highlights some of the content that we're generally talking about and to show that the content on iTunes, whether we've got music, we've got video, we've got apps, we've got iBooks, and how that kind of content is relevant to the audience. So I'm talking to the business, the clients. Now, what we're looking at here is that original YouTube video that we sneakily put up, took back down again, but someone's already grabbed it. They put it here and they're speculating, saying, this looks genuine to me, seems to be a test for connected Apple hardware and sharing content. And an iWatch, I want an iWatch. So we haven't said this is the iWatch. What someone else has said is this is the iWatch. So we're now taking that step backwards. But what's now happened is someone else has taken it from them and they're repurposing it and saying this is leaked test footage of the forthcoming Apple Watch. Brilliant, 38,910 views. So what we're doing here is talking to an audience that is desperate and hungry for a certain type of content. And we're saying, well, look, we don't care that someone else has taken this. This is spreading the word. This is about getting that message out there. Okay, next up, another example of a Vine video. This was, I like to kind of, the challenge of 6 seconds to demonstrate a product. This was our Led Zeppelin iBook. Very successful, great, but it's a great way to spread that content. And the challenge, as I say, if you can't fit it into 6 seconds, then you probably are saying too much in the first place, much like more than 140 characters. And it's why I'm talking so fast, because I have lots to say. And then we move on to something like, okay, here's our new Doors app, available via the App Store. But the great thing is the App Store have tweeted this to, as we says here, retweeted by iTunes Music, to 3,958,299 followers. That's an amazing outreach, and then obviously I haven't covered on everybody else that's retweeted that content. But this is now talking to consumers that are interested in
That's my screen grab. That's my screen grab.
They're quite hungry for this because they like the fact that if we tweet something like a chart position, which we're at #2.
We can do this, we can get to #1.
We can get to #1 because we're telling people we're at #2. And the difference is rather than just being, look, we're at #1, aren't we amazing? We're saying we're at #2, come on everybody, get behind this. And that becomes a group thing, and that's exciting. Everyone can be part of that. Now, I have the enviable task of being Inspector Gadget on BBC London's evening show, where I get to talk about all sorts of amazing gadgets. So whenever I see fit, I can tweet lots of interesting pictures about the type of gadgets that be on there. But of course, copying in all of these suppliers of said gadgets, so they can retweet merrily to all of their followers. Now,
we're here to stay. Tablets are not on the way out.
Exactly, tablets are not on the way out, as mentioned
by...
laptops.
Laptops are very important, of course.
They are very important. Don't forget the laptops. But as tweeted and mentioned by BlackBerry boss, tablets are on the way out. No, they're not. As I added my comment there, BlackBerry's probably on the way out. You can probably replace the word tablet. Now let's go back to the iTunes, the YouTube content here. We've now got some great comments. We've got has want. This is it. I need an iWatch. I call it the MacBook iPad watch. Yes, lolcats on my wrist now. You is all cretins. This is not iWatch. I just some iPads and shit. Brilliant. I love this kind of audience. It's great. So now, next thing up, we bought ourselves. I spotted this months ago. It is. It's the coolest fridge ever. This is not just a speaker. Oh no, all the switches work on the front. This is fantastic. But it's a fridge. So this is our champagne and beer fridge for the boardroom. But of course, I couldn't resist tweeting it. And then it was comprehensively retweeted by Marshall Amps and everybody that follows Marshall Amps because they're consumers, but they're people that are genuinely interested in that content. Now, next up, see now I hate innovation for innovation's sake, so I delved into LinkedIn to make the point of sharing an article about someone that was working with the Leap gestural unit, whereas they were saying, look, you can actually design things on here, and you can use and control Photoshop. Fantastic. Using Photoshop is something that's actually a fine art in itself, whereas there was not enough control here. So this was annoying me. So no, this is not better than a pen or a mouse. Developers developing for designers. No. There's a very personal, loud, shouty comment after that. But the difference there is it's getting a personal comment across within an industry now and talking about, I mean, we are innovating and building things for Leap. Now next up, another one of our amazing products. But this is our
works great
iPad.
on
It's iPad only, right?
Something special.
I want one on me.
Now they're arguing about the fact that it's not available on an iPhone. I'm sorry about that, but it is available on an iPad. But this was merely updating the screenshots and the content that goes with a supporting iBook that's already been in the top 10 in the US and UK for 14 months. So let's tell that message. So we spread the message via the Brandwidth account. But also via my personal account. So there are two different sets of followers there, but it's more of a non-brand corporate message because it's a Brandwidth product. Now the difference there is that we tend to get a whole bunch of retweets off mine, which looks like 3 of these unlikely characters over here and yet another one of my slightly weird personalities. But then people across the pond and in the US were waking up and starting to pick up this kind of stuff. Now this is also spread across there's Facebook, for both the Brandwidth and Activrightbrain, which is my personal blog account. So that's spreading that wider because from a personal level, I'm the author of the book, but from a branding level, it's a Brandwidth's own book. Now, moving on, we've now got another opportunity to say here, look, Google Plus has made an appearance at this moment, and comprehensively not shared by anyone, because probably with no one else actually doing anything on Google Plus. And then put back into LinkedIn as well, because a great opportunity here to give some substance.
Orange.
Whoa.
It's orange.
So cool.
What are you guys? Sorry. The guys, they're all very excited about the orange car. Apart from, I believe, the laptop's not as excited about this. Now, we do a lot of work with automotive clients, so anything that kind of pushes a genuine personal interest in cars is something of a bit of a bonus. So, okay, I've tweeted about this is a great colour combination, retweeted by John Clennon. Well, now they've already moved on to the fact that I'm now, from a personal level, I've got home. I'm now going, I hate the summer. And now this is signed off by any parents trying to convince children it's night time and get them to sleep. So at this point, I've kind of gone into my therapy mode.
Go, Olivia. Yay.
I've gone into my therapy mode where Olivia, one of my daughters, was trying to get to sleep. Now this is something, while I'm amusing myself trying to get her to sleep, I decided to tweet about the amazing video that we made with her a couple of weeks ago, where she's a news round presenter. Now, this is one of the great uses of a boardroom and a video camera, and then sending your daughter off to school who all her friends now think she's some kind of amazing TV star. I've set the bar a little too high for her when it just comes to spelling and times tables. But why not? So we even took her down to the local animal sanctuary to go and film some llamas or alpacas or whatever they were. But then this just gets shared across as my therapy. This is on YouTube, but then my therapy usually extends to Facebook, where anyone that knows me, particularly at weekends if I'm left with the kids, tends to extend to me saying, I can't stand it, I can't do it, my wife's gone out, I don't know what to do with them, they've smeared food all over my face. So Olivia's now out on location. Now one of the great things here is, okay, then Olivia's nanny has gone and said, oh brilliant, that's fantastic. So we're still on a fairly personal level there, but one of the things you'll see on the next slide when we've moved on is actually a reply from one of the news round presenters, which is fantastic because then Olivia then goes in to tell her friends the next day, one of the news round presenters saw my clip and he thought it was fantastic. So the very little time I spend with my children, I can at least add something to it. So they're utterly bemused what I do the rest of the time, but at least I can finally employ some of that useful time. Let's let Olivia sign off.
Oh, you gotta love llamas or alpacas or whatever they are.
Jolly well done, Olivia.
For now.
And there she goes. So now down here we've got Ricky Belletto is signing off and saying, fantastic, well done Olivia. The teacher's thoroughly bemused by the fact that somehow Olivia has a hotline for the actual
quite big
presenters.
enough.
So moving on.
I don't need a smaller screen either.
We've got to 8:17, now 9 o'clock.
I don't need one.
I've personal comments about people saying iPhone should have a bigger screen. Well, I've already got an iPad mini and I don't need something that's bigger because I don't need something that fits in between the two. So again, one of those opportunities to just dip in and give a personal comment. And then, so we've got to 9 o'clock and say, well, the tweets, I'm beginning to slow down here. This communication is getting to an end. So finally we go back and revisit the video. So we've got the final comments and is that real? Okay, then this looks real to me. The device extension across various mobile devices is a really nice feature and feels like something Apple might try. I like the file sharing from iPhone to iPad and it works really well with the iWatch. I hope iOS 7 makes all this possible with or without the watch. Your dad's gay. So, gotta love YouTube comments. But at least it gives some substance. We know that we've now reached 166,230 views.
I can't work with these amateurs, I can't work with them. Oh, mashed potato penis. Oh.
Well, thanks.